The views and opinions expressed by John and DJ do not reflect those of any intelligent or rational human being and are solely the property of the Brightside Chat.
This show is a proud member of the Nerdy Legion Podcast Network. Get more at nerdylegion.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Bright Side and issue number 184. John, how are we doing? Look at us go, 2 weeks in a row.
I know. Look at that. It's almost like a pattern.
Yeah, and it almost wasn't.
Especially since yesterday's show, or our last week's show just dropped yesterday.
Oh, well, I'll touch on that.
I almost thought we weren't going to get it.
I know. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Why don't we just get into the store? We've got a bunch to get to. We got a lot of news to get to. We got a couple of books in checkout. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
I think I know the title of the show. Do you?
All right. I have my preference, yes.
Yes. All right. So it is a clear preference there. And
it is.
For the listeners now that we're teasing, they're going, yeah, we know the preference. It's right there in the title. So it says issue number 184, blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. I just yada, yada that, John.
You did.
A lot of yada, yada going on. All right. You ready to get into the store?
I am.
All right. Let's go. Sweet sounds of the chime. Johnny Boombots.
Right, the bell.
How are we doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm doing okay now that we're all in here and comfy and cozy and we can hear each other and everything looking good. So, sorry about last week. Obviously, Nerdy Legion was down, and I went to upload the show, and there's very little bit of editing I have to do for the show nowadays. We're pretty streamlined. But we did have a couple of breaks last week, and lo and behold, I had to go in and cut them out, and the one time, maybe it's happened before, where I had to cut out breaks, but nothing was synced up. So when I went in to do it, I would be like cutting where the break was, but I would actually be cutting conversation. It was very difficult to do. So I had a corrupt file, and I figured it out. It took me a few days. I kept getting frustrated and walking away from the computer and being like, well, it's already late. I'll try again tomorrow. And obviously I finally figured it out. And that was like literally Monday morning. I got up and I'm like working on it instead of going to work. And, I got it taken care of and I got it out there. So glad I did.
Yeah,
it was I listened to it back. It was a good conversation. We had fun.
I'm still I'm halfway through. Well, I'm into real world now. Somewhere in real world. So
reliving your real world.
Yeah,
your month-long real world.
Which I'll probably just stop at this point. But, I like to hear what I had to say,
How insightful you were.
I like to hear myself talk, so.
All right. I could make that happen for you, John. I could just
I wasn't going to listen to it at all, but Ralph came on and said he's only doing shows like 3 days this week, so I was like, well, I guess I need to fill my time for the next couple days anyway.
The ringing
I'll listen back
endorsement of
to
our show.
Well, it came so late. I was like, I'm probably just not going to bother.
Right.
I'll be listening to this show tomorrow.
Yep. There you go. See? Right back at it. All right. So how are things going in the store? Is it getting any better for you, or still same old, same old?
Well, I had a good week last week.
That's good.
Mostly because I bought and flipped a pretty big comic last week. So the money I made from that deal enabled me to get caught up on some stuff. So
that's good.
That was good. Yeah. I mean, other than that, things were a little better, but they weren't fantastic. But, like I said, I had a good deal last week, so that helped me out quite a bit.
That's good.
Luckily, I bought it and sold it very quickly. So, because I was afraid I was going to have to sit on it for a little while, and I had spent money that I didn't really have. So it worked out.
That makes it tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody's doing. You're just plugging away, literally plugging away, like, filling the holes in the dike. Just like, all right, let me try and do it. Try this way now. And hey,
it's just hopefully, now that I'm caught up again, hopefully I just, I can't, I don't fall behind again. That's the thing. So
exactly. All right. Why don't we get to this right away? This is the bright side chat after all. So we'll get this out of the way right now. Okay. I asked you, I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you again.
We're going to talk about that.
Were you lucky enough to go to the theaters and see Jurassic World Dominion?
I was lucky enough not to go.
Yes, you were, sir.
I heard. Yeah, I've heard. Not good things.
I mean, I love the posters. I love the advertising. I love the series. I bought my tickets for this over a month ago. I got them nice. And so when I buy my tickets, I always get them early enough that I'm usually get like the prime seat or something thereabouts. Right. Maybe I'll be slightly to the left or slightly to the right. And depending on the movie, I'll choose a row. Like in my theater, it's H is slightly closer than I, right?
Right.
I is the prime seating position for me, the one that I like, and it's more like being at home in my theater. It's the same kind of aspect ratio, same size, right?
Right.
And then from my perspective. But H gets you that little bit closer, so you get it's a little bit grander, a little bit more of an IMAX experience, even though I'm not at an IMAX.
Right.
I chose H. Why not? You're getting dinosaurs, right?
Exactly.
No.
I heard there weren't too many dinosaurs in the dinosaur movie.
No. Dr. Alan Grant looking in IMAX, not the coolest thing in the world. He's old. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Giant. I mean, and it would be one thing if he was, like say a Mount Rushmore actor and he was looking like Mount Rushmore in front of me, but he's not. It's just, it was so, look up the word convoluted. I swear to God, they put Jurassic World Dominion in there now. It was so convoluted. It was ridiculous. Like they were trying to combine park and world and bring them together, plus a third storyline and bring it all together. And the way they were doing, every time they went, you were like, oh God, we're going to this story now. And then it was like, can I just get a dinosaur? Just have one run by, do something. It was awful. Absolutely awful. I did not enjoy it. I told Jen in the middle of it, I leaned over to her, I went, I'm going to buy it so I can complete my set, but I'm not. I'm not. And I will watch it in my theater because, I mean, it does have some decent special effects.
Well, I was going to ask you what kind of theater. I'm sure it's still going to be a decent theater experience.
It is, but here's the thing.
But there weren't that many dinosaurs.
The theater experience part was so spread out that it's very difficult to say. I mean, it's like 2 hours and something, like it's like 2.5 hours, isn't it? I mean,
I don't know.
It was long.
Sure.
It was really long. It felt really long. And there's a long time with no dinosaurs. I liked the ending a lot. I will say that. I loved how it all, like when it finally did wrap up, you were
So is
like,
this the end of the franchise? Like, is this supposed to be the end or?
Spoilers? No.
Or you just like the end of this movie?
I like the end of the movie, but what I didn't like is everything I heard was, one, it was Jurassic World Dominion. So look, the dinosaurs are supposed to be ruling the earth.
Exactly.
They're not.
Which is the way the last movie ended. Like it ended with Blue and the Raptors running around in some subdivision. And, you think that that's what this is going to be.
There's a couple of storylines that I liked that would have been really good as standalone storylines.
Right.
Like if they just eliminated one or two of the other ones, which how many times do you say that in a movie? Like if they just eliminated a bunch of other storylines, there should only be one. It's like, so that was tough. But I did like, there was some storylines that I did like, couple of, pulling at the heartstrings type things.
Right.
But like I said, when it wrapped up at the end, I liked the messaging at the end. I liked, I'm a huge fan of the first movie. I'm a huge fan of the symbolism of the first movie. I think it was ahead of its time for what's going on nowadays. I love that movie. I could talk for hours about that movie. And this movie kind of pulled at that right at the very end of it, but everything leading up to that just really was just very, very disappointing. And again, it didn't even end it in a way like you can totally see there's going to be a 7. There's no wrap up. It's that this is just the end of this movie, and it's like the world still is going on with. I was expecting something different where it was like, okay, this is absolutely the last movie, like the end of No Time to Die, that is the last movie for him. Right.
Well, it's the last day. Yeah, it's not the last Bond. But
no, but
spoilers.
It's his
but
last.
It's the last
Bond.
Daniel Craig.
Right, and they left no doubt. Right. It's like,
yeah, there's no renegotiate. There's no well, maybe I'll come back and do one more.
Right. Because it's not a comic book. Bond is, for all intents and purposes, based in a little bit more reality than other things. Like if it was a comic book, you'd be like, ooh, there was a secret bunker that
right.
But Bond is Bond. So. This, no, just, it ended the way it started, quite literally. And you're like, okay, there was a nice story in there in the middle, but I was expecting this to be the end, it, wrap it all up. So yeah, get out to your theaters and check it out.
Well, after that ringing endorsement, how can I possibly hold off?
Are you a glutton for punishment?
Yeah.
And you know how much I love supporting the theaters, how much I love.
Well, and and you're a glass half full kind of guy, so
if it's half full.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not that's the thing is everybody think I know I'm usually mostly positive and I like to see the positive in things and I will buy this because I did see the positive in this, but no, I didn't. It just, I can't. And I'm like, I just can't. And the funny thing is this was supposed to be outlasted. They should have released this at home. They should have released it a year ago.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be out last year. It was supposed to be June of 2021. And now we're getting, oh well. But I guess it did well because it's the franchise.
Well, it made all the money its first weekend because of its name.
Yeah.
I don't know that it'll have lasting legs at the box office because it's not getting very good reviews.
I mean, talk about two extremes. I'm begging people to go see Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
I'm like, you need to see that in a theater. You've got to. Oh, you're crazy if you don't. And Ara from HT Guys, my buddy, geez, he's bragging to me. He's like, I saw Top Gun in the theater 10 times. I'm like, and you won't see Maverick once?
Right.
He's like, I love my theater at home. I go, I know. Oh, it's so funny. But he did end up going to see it. His daughters dragged him to it. So, but all right. Glad I got that out of the way. Got that off my chest, John.
Your chest. Yeah.
I'll just talk about it again on my other podcast for a little bit. And I don't think I'll be breaking that one down anytime soon. Oh, I was John Saccone through almost the entire thing. I was Saccone in the
so it's almost like I was there.
Movie. Oh my God. There were so many scenes where there's no way that why, how did they know? How do they know how to do that? How did they know? I mean, and because it was so repetitive like that, you were like, how I can rationalize things away, and be like, oh, well, maybe no, there was just so much of it that you were just like, oh my God.
Just couldn't do it.
Just couldn't do it. Did not enjoy it. So.
Well, that's too bad. But.
Yeah. So. All right. You want to get to? I only have one mailbag instance. You ready to get to that?
Sure.
All right. I think. Let me see here. What do
You think you only have one?
I think.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we only have that little conversation that we had with Dr. Joe.
Oh, okay.
And that I wanted to touch on that. He doesn't like Leia.
I saw that.
Dr. Joe chiming in doesn't. And what I think is funny is like he has a little girl.
Yeah.
It's like
about the same age.
His daughter's slightly younger. I don't. His daughter's not 10 yet. I think she's like 5 or 6. Sorry, Dr.
Oh,
Joe.
okay.
Violet. But yeah. It's like, oh, and then the other part is he was like team hashtag because he didn't like the book that you didn't like, but then he liked the book that I liked. I liked them both.
Yeah.
And it was like 50-50. So he agreed with me on one and agreed with you on the other. And I just happened to like them both, which I thought was funny. So he did like The Closet, but he didn't like New Think. And he thought, I think, what did he basically say? It was like two on the nose.
Yeah.
Something like that. But
yeah,
I'm like, yay, to each his own. But I was like, so team 50-50?
Yeah.
I was like, and then we have to get to this because according to Dr. Joe, inquiring minds want to know. I apologize. John, would you reiterate again for probably the 10th time since you've been
nobody
home?
wants to hear me talk about Italy anymore.
How was the food?
The food is fantastic.
But to be fair, Dr. Joe was right. You and I had already had that conversation about the food.
Well, we had,
because that
yes,
was
we
the
had.
first question I asked you. I'm like, because I know how much you love the food, how much you were looking forward to it. Growing up, going to your house, growing up, it was like the food. It was your house always smelled good. And I'm like, you're that guy. So I'm like, how was the food? And go ahead, let everybody know. Because we didn't
like
do
I said,
it last week.
The food is excellent. Obviously, if you like pasta, if you don't, then it's not going to be excellent. I happen to enjoy pasta quite a bit.
I think everybody does.
The one thing I said, I know I told you, and I've said a few times, I thought the pizza was good, but I've had pizza that is as good here too.
Right.
Well, not here in Texas, but like in the States, like in, back home up north.
Yeah.
I've had some pizzas that were just as good. The biggest difference is it sits somewhere between like a thin crust and like your traditional crust. Like there's not as much bread. There's not as much crust, but I can't say it's thin crust because I actually don't like that.
Right.
It's like eating pizza on a piece of toast,
Right.
But this is a little bit
it's real.
in the middle. And then some of the topping, like some of the things that I had, like I had a pizza in Venice with like gorgonzola cheese on it, which you would never, like I couldn't get that here unless I made it myself. Like nobody in the United States would put that on there. But I loved it. Like it was my the favorite pizza that I had. I thought it was really good.
Are you sure the Rome doesn't do that?
I'm pretty sure the Rome. I don't know. I mean, I've never had it there.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, gorgonzola is like a blue cheese.
Yeah.
So it has that really strong
so good
taste to it. But when it's melted on the pizza, and it wasn't like the only cheese. Like it had its regular mozzarella, and then this was they just like put globs of it on there that melted into it as well, and it was so good.
Let me interject here. At the restaurant we go to, Jen and I come up with different takes for our buffalo wings. Now we're up to we get our buffalo wings with crumbled blue cheese and bacon.
Yeah.
Over the top.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, we just put in our order. We'll take the buffalo wings. And that's what comes out. And everybody, like we sit at the bar and the people at the bar are like, what the hell is that?
What is
that?
that?
Looks delicious.
I get blue cheese on my wings too.
With bacon?
There's some, not with bacon, but there's Buffalo Wild Wings does like a blue cheese kind of sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not as good or the same, but I love blue cheese. See, Lydia doesn't like it. So we ordered the pizza and then something else for her because I didn't think, we didn't think she would eat it.
Yeah.
And then she ended up having a couple of pieces of it and actually really liked it. But, and then the other thing that I was kind of aware of, but didn't realize the extent of this was that, like, the regional dishes in every city, like every city has their pasta dishes, and you don't find them in other cities. Like, there's 5 dishes that are on every menu in every restaurant in Rome. But once you go to Florence, you don't see those same dishes again. And then it was this in Venice was also different. Venice was a lot of seafood dishes because obviously they're right on the water. Florence was the pomodoro, like the fresh tomatoes, because they're a farming region, right? So it's all regional. But I thought that was weird because it didn't matter where you went. Every menu had the same dishes on it. Obviously prepared in their own style or their own methods, but it was the same dishes. And they're also ordered as a first course. Like, all the pasta dishes are meant to be eaten as a first course.
Like
There's
an
no
appetizer.
meat. Yeah. So you
Over
order,
here.
you order your antipasti, which is like the
Salad.
we got we got the cheese boards, like the cheese and meat boards and stuff.
Charcuterie board,
and then you get the pasta. And then you're supposed to order your second course, which is the meat course. Now, we never we never did that because we were always full after the pasta. But you order in courses there, and there's, like I said, 3 courses that you're supposed to order. So I thought that was interesting too. You don't see that here, anywhere on the menu. So, but yeah, other than those differences, I mean, like I said, the pasta is fantastic. And then things, there's things that don't exist there. Like, there's no such thing as Alfredo in Italy. Like, that's an American thing. So you don't find fettuccine. You don't find Alfredo sauce on any menu there. It just doesn't exist. You don't really see spaghetti and meatballs because that's an American thing. So some of that is different. Most of what I had was not based in red sauce. I got different things. But the one dish I had was a lasagna bolognese with the red sauce. And like, not to toot my own horn, but mine's better. So, well, I don't know if it was just that one particular restaurant, but my recipe comes from my great grandmother. It comes from the old country. So, but
Italy.
I feel like I feel like mine is better. So,
well, it's funny because after I talked to you when you first got home, Jen asked me, she's like, "How was the food?" And I said, interesting, but not, because knowing where we grew up, it's actually not surprising.
Right.
Because we have, in like the town that John and I grew up in.
Yeah, we had good Italian food.
We had 2 really good Italian restaurants in town, owned by, for all intents and purposes, the same family. They were all related. Right, and they were
all related, and they're all from Italy. Like, they're all direct.
I mean,
so there were recipes, from Italy. So,
my buddy Eddie, both his parents are like directly from Italy. I go over to his, and they were part of the union, right?
The union,
and then, so the union, and then Eddie opened his restaurant after that. But it's like, his mom was like, you go into their house, oh my God. It was like being in Italy. And then they'd start talking, and it's all in Italian. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure, I'll have some. I don't even know what you said. But yeah, so growing up in that town, it was tough in that town for like a Papagino's to survive.
Yeah.
And we had one. Actually, we ended up with 2.
We had 2. And actually,
2
we eat there a lot.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. You go and see how the other half live. But like for real Italian food, oh man. So yeah, for you to go over to Italy, like where we grew up was like we were getting Italian food, real Italian food. So
yeah.
And then of course, if you wanted to go into Boston, the North End, you had that too. Yeah. But that was similar to being in Franklin. And it was like, and I'm an Irish kid growing up basically in Italian. Growing up, I always wanted to be Italian.
Because Franklin, well, at least then, I don't know if it is now, but at least back then, it was very Italian.
Oh yeah, I don't know now how.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it is anymore because it's so big now.
Right.
there's so many more people, and
The roam's still there. They still
Right,
have, but yeah, it's
but it's not as good. I'll be honest with you.
the roam. I've
Yeah.
been there. It's still very.
Yeah, I mean,
Italian.
it's still good, but
Yeah.
like when we were there 2 years ago, I was a little let down because it's
Overwhelmed.
not like I remembered it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, but the family's, it's kind of changed hands. Somebody passed away. Something,
Yeah,
things
it's I mean
happened and-
generations. It's still
Yeah.
the same family, but
Right.
different generations are taking it.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that is our chef's minute at the Bright Side
exactly.
Chat.
Now we've talked about movies and food.
Movies and food.
I mean, I can talk about the food. I haven't even gotten into the gelato or the cannolis.
Yeah.
We'll
I
we'll
know.
leave that for another. We'll leave that for another episode.
Exactly. Well, you got to get your line in there though. That you've told every
Yeah.
time. You told me. You told Dr. Joe. I'm sure you've told everybody else about like if you weren't walking everywhere.
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely. We had gelato every night. We had cannoli several nights before gelato. We had pasta. You know what I mean? Pizza and pasta every day. But like we walked literally 5 or 6 miles a day, and I only gained 2 pounds. If it wasn't for that walking,
Right.
it definitely would have been up 20 pounds. So
Yep.
yeah, you can't. It's not sustainable. You can't eat like that forever.
It was so funny. I was watching you and Dr. Joe go back and forth on Twitter, and I'm like, this is like pretty much the same conversation.
Right.
It's like you said, like, do you have this like on speed? Like, do you already have it printed out?
Well, no, but I've
I
been
know.
asked it now
Right.
a bunch
No, I
of times, and my answers haven't changed. So
No, I know. I know.
I'm just
I know.
used to saying it.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get back into quickly about because Dr. Joe brought it up about Leia. And
Yeah.
I love her. I think she's great. I have a couple of other issues with the show. We'll get into in real world briefly, but yeah, I love
No,
her.
I like her. I like her a lot too.
I
I'm
think
not
she's
sure.
great. And like I commented to Dr. Joe, I think that's the point is she's supposed to be coming off as a 20-year-old in a 10-year-old body because she's just so smart and articulate and she's like outsmarting people. And again, we'll get to it in real world.
It's like that. What
about
was that other
but-
show that we watched with the little journalist girl like that?
But Home Before Dark.
Home Before Dark. Same kind of thing. But the thing is, even with this show, with Leia, like the little girl shows through sometimes. Like,
Yes.
there's moments where she gets scared because she's just a little girl.
Yeah.
and
She loves
like
her
when
little
she-
robot.
when she grabbed Obi-Wan's hand at the end of the last episode to hold
Yeah.
his hand, and so it's like the little girl still shows through, but she is, kind of wise above
Beyond her years. Yeah.
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 So, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's with any show where you have kids
She's-
for the most part.
She's also supposed to be part Jedi. She's got Jedi.
Yes.
She's got Jedi tendencies. So why wouldn't she be a little wiser or something? Who knows?
Well, and honestly, most kids nowadays are wise beyond their years because they're exposed to so much more.
Right.
Like my granddaughters that are 10 and 11 know things and say things that I wasn't thinking about when I was 10 or 11. You know what I mean?
No.
I was still playing with my Star Wars toys,
Oh, I know.
So
You still are. Look at
but
behind you.
I still am. Yeah, well, look,
What the?
I got a new one right here. So
Oh, was that Han or Luke?
yeah, it's Han.
Han. Nice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I've already got a couple of them, but
Hoth
I
Han.
gotta- it was a great deal. So I
Is that what it's called? Hoth Han? Or Han Hoth?
Yes.
Hoth
Yeah.
Han?
Hoth outfit. Yep. Hoth
Yeah.
Han.
Now, is that actual fur or is it just plastic?
No, it's just plastic. Nowadays, it would be actual fur, but
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
PETA would come by and throw blood on it or something.
1/100th of a squirrel was sacrificed for this doll. Squirrel's got
Three hairs were
Yeah, exactly.
three hairs were taken.
This poor squirrel standing there with a little shaved spot on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Stupid thing. Oh, that's the gig, though. Talk about a
What?
Talk about
PETA?
a tangent. No, look at cows
Oh.
got the raw deal. We want to eat them, but sheep, we just
Oh.
shave them, let them grow some more.
Exactly.
That's the gig,
They
right?
grow it
Oh,
back and we shave them again.
They're not going to kill me. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, oh
They just
man,
want my hair.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Cows are like, oh, look at what I don't know what
I
they
wish I
want
was
to
a
do with
sheep.
our hair. Yeah, we're going a little deeper on you, buddy.
Right.
You're delicious. Oh, all right. And that's this week's mailbag. Streak continues.
Again, maybe I'll get some flack for this. I don't know. but
Sheep taste good?
no.
No.
There was there's a bird, a pigeon or something made a nest in the gutters right above my door at the house.
No. What'd you do?
Every time I came out, it scared the crap out of me because like I'd come out to lock my door and it would like fly away over my head and scare me. But anyways, I didn't want it in there, right? So I got up and I cleaned it out. And of course, there was a nest in there with a couple of eggs in it. And I just threw the eggs in a plastic bag and threw them in the trash. But, I told my wife about it. And of course, she had a fit because I should have left it alone and blah, blah, blah. And then that same thing came up. I was like, well, tell that to the cow after the steak you had for dinner last night. It's like,
right.
Where do you draw the line? It's like, would it have been okay if I brought the eggs inside and cracked them and made an omelet with them? Like, we eat eggs every day. So what's the difference?
Well, actually, what I would have said is if you're just going to do that, you throw the eggs into a bush or something, let some animal eat them. Because at least I don't know why you put them in a plastic bag.
Well, because I just picked up the whole nest and,
right.
I had the gloves on, they're dirty. Like, I didn't want to, I put some gloves on and I just threw them all in a plastic bag and threw them in the trash can.
I got nests all over my gazebo under my pool, by my pool. I got nests in there. I got to pull out, but I wait for the babies to grow up and leave.
Well, see, I was, now we're so far off topic now, but I had one last year that made its nest on top of my TV that's out there. The TV on my patio, it's in an enclosure, so it's all closed off. It made its nest on top, and I left it there. Like, I didn't mess with it. I let it, same thing. I let it do its thing. The birds hatched. They flew away. The Terminix guy or whatever, the pest control guy came in and ended up cleaning it off. I thought nothing of it until like a month later when I went to use that TV and I opened that thing up and it was covered in bird crap. Like just crap. So I was like, okay, never again. I bought one of those plastic owls to put on there so the bird wouldn't come back. And I was like, I don't want that in my gutter. So I cleaned it out. But, I did the right thing last year and I paid the price for it because cleaning that stuff after it had been sitting for like well over a month off of my TV was no easy feat. And it was a lot of it.
Oh, so, that'll ruin your components. So that I recommend.
I wasn't happy about that. Yeah. So this one paid the price for last year's niceness. So.
Oh, all right.
And the worst thing is, like, it flew to the roof, my neighbor's roof, and it sat there and watched me like destroy its nest, and so,
awful.
We're gonna get all kinds of mail next week from the bird lovers, but
no, I don't. I think we're good. I don't think the bird lovers are listening.
Maybe not.
Yeah. So here we are, half hour into the show. You ready to get to some news?
Right, because you said we only had 90 minutes, so we better get this show on the road.
Yeah, I got longer than 90 minutes, but all right, you ready to get to some news?
Sure.
Nope, that's not it.
That's not it.
There we go.
That's it. All right. So first up, this was a little bit of a surprise because the first reports didn't made it sound like this wouldn't happen. But Netflix renewed Kevin Smith's Master of the Universe for a second season, which I really enjoyed the show, so I'm happy about that. But Kevin himself was like, I don't think this is going to happen because he got a lot of grief about it.
Well, you and I talked about it, that it wasn't that it wasn't good. It's like everything else. That's not what I expected.
It wasn't what they expected. And again,
are we going to have more He-Man in our He-Man show?
It's not He-Man.
Exactly.
Right. But the thing
That's why I said
it's not called He-Man. It's called Masters of the Universe. So once you realize that, you realize that that's what you got.
Yeah.
And
the show you grew up with was called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So
exactly.
That's not what you were getting here or there. Who knows what this one will be. But
it also, again, once you get to the end of it, everything came together.
Yeah.
Even again, Kevin himself said multiple times that the show was never meant to be split into two parts. That was a purely Netflix decision. So, you weren't meant to go 6 weeks between the break, which obviously the show, when, where the show ended, people weren't happy with. but you were only supposed to wait,
Right.
30 seconds until the next episode started. You weren't supposed to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
So
They were what, 24 minutes, 30 minutes,
yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were short.
So, but when it ends, then you're like, okay, next episode starts in 5, 4, 3. That's all you were supposed to wait. Yeah, you weren't supposed to wait all that other time. So, again, good news for those of us that liked it.
Yeah.
And for those that didn't like it, you still don't have to watch it.
Plenty of other content for you.
Exactly.
Yep.
Speaking of renewals, Amazon has renewed The Boys for season 4. Also, I'm enjoying, we're 4 episodes into season 3 right now. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the real world.
Looking forward to more.
Yep.
Marvel, MCU has a Thunderbolts movie in development, apparently. This is cool. They were kind of setting that up with Falcon Winter Soldier. A lot of people thought that there would be like a series or something with the Thunderbolts. And it looks like, again, this is going to go into the MCU first, at least. Who knows after that. But again, very little details, no revelations on the team or who's going to be in it. But, we can kind of guess based on the comics that we're going to get... what's his name? The other Captain America. I can't think of his name now.
Yeah. Not Soldier Boy.
Yeah, not Soldier Boy.
That's why my brain is right now. I'm like,
Yeah. But we're probably gonna see like Yelena. We're gonna see the Captain America character. Zemo probably. There's characters that were set up in that show that will probably show up here. So that's cool.
Yep.
All right. Also in the rumor news, Lady Gaga apparently is in talks to play Harley Quinn in the Joker sequel. I just can't believe the title they came up with for this. Joker Folie à Deux.
What? I haven't heard that.
That's the title of the movie. That is the official title of the movie. I heard that last week.
I thought this was all rumor anyways. How's that?
No, Joker 2 was officially confirmed last week.
That was,
Todd
but
Phillips
Lady Gaga
confirmed
being in it is a rumor.
Right. But what I'm saying is that the movie and the title were confirmed last week. So it is definitely called Joker Folie à Deux. I don't know what that means.
The musical?
But that is the title. Now, the musical is what I put on the end of this. Because the rumor is that she's being cast as Harley because because the movie is going to be a musical. That is rumor. We don't know if that's fact or not. If it is fact, then I guess that does confirm what we talked about last week in that Todd Phillips can do more things than just the Joker.
I would guess that he can.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about any of this, honestly. I don't even think, I think even the movie itself was fine as it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it needs a Joker 2.
No.
Certain movies that are, we always want to sequelize everything, especially when they make $1 billion. Not every movie needs a sequel. And the Joker was set up, it left questions to be answered. It was good. If they're going to do a sequel, that's fine. But to turn it into some kind of musical, no, I don't know what we're doing there. So again, that's all rumor. I don't know how true any of that is, other than the title and the fact that they did confirm the sequel. So,
right. The one thing I had mixed emotions on all of this, except for Lady Gaga being in it. I think she would be great
I like
as
her.
Harley Quinn. I think she would be
exactly.
great,
I do like her. And I could even see her as a Harley Quinn as played seriously.
That's what I mean.
Across from his Joker.
Right.
Turning it into some kind of
musical
or even like the Harley Quinn that would be in this movie is not the Harley Quinn you get on her show on HBO Max or even like the Suicide Squad version, because this movie had a very different tone. So I would expect her to be different in this movie as well. And she's a great actress, so I could see her doing that, but I just don't know what they're doing with this movie. Just because she sings doesn't mean it has to be a musical. I don't know where that rumor started, because she was in American Horror Story. She wasn't singing to anybody there,
Right.
You know? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally, the way the movie ended, he was still in prison,
Right.
right? So for all you know, he goes around that corner and he runs into Dr.
Quinn.
Dr. Quinn, yeah.
Medicine Woman.
Yeah. But, and the idea of a musical, I'm like, I don't know if I want that. But every time I say that, I actually really I end up enjoying said musical, like the Flash episode or Psych
I enjoyed
episode.
the Flash episode, but
I don't
like,
know if I want a movie.
I don't like. I enjoy certain shows that have that musical component to them, but I did not like. What's the one with Ewan McGregor and the big musical?
Oh, I love that Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. I don't like Moulin Rouge. I watched
one of my
The
favorites.
Greatest Showman not too long ago. I don't think we ever talked about it on here, but I watched The Greatest Showman. Didn't really care for it because I don't like that type of over-the-top musical.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to see, because honestly, if this becomes a musical, then it's all in his head, right? Like all of this is crazy stuff because it's all got to be delusion, because the world that he lives in doesn't lend itself to being a musical.
Right.
So it will all end up being his, like I said, his delusions. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Have you seen Sucker Punch?
Yes.
That's a good
movie.
movie.
I've seen it once and it was a long time ago, so I couldn't talk about
It's
it.
not that old, but yeah, it's
Well, I mean, I saw
yeah.
it whenever it came out, though.
Yeah, that's a nice,
At least 10 years ago.
That's a great version of something being in a character's head and being not delusional, but how she deals with the crisis. But anyways, back to this. Is all of that being said, everything, all of our reservations, do we need this movie? This is all the stuff we said when we first heard about the movie Joker.
Right.
Right? We were like, we don't want this. I remember you and I and then we walked out of that theater like, wow, that was done really, really well. Who knew?
Well, that was done well.
You
Now,
know?
again, we've said, admittedly, like, you liked it more than I did. Like, I had some
Loved
issues with it. Like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as you did. But it was very well done. Like, all the like, everything about it was excellent.
Yeah.
I just, didn't end up liking it as much as you did. But, I don't know. Again, all that being said, it's just like the Amanda Waller thing, right? Like, we're going to go see it. So,
Yep.
There's nothing's going to keep us from it.
Nope.
So we'll have to see how it goes.
Yep. All right. Moving along. What do we got? Oh, I like this.
See, I don't.
I know.
I don't like this at
That's
all.
why I like it. I think it's hysterical.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
It's so
Spider-Man.
Stupid.
No Way Home. The more fun stuff version is coming to theaters on September 2nd.
Thought it was good before. Ha ha.
So
We gave you
basically,
the
yeah, the
crappy
director's
one
cut.
first.
With all the extra stuff. And I wouldn't have any problem with this, except like I've already bought the 4K disc and you know what I mean? It's like,
They know.
here I go again, having to buy this again.
Yep.
Because again, although I say I'm going to go see it, and I've still never seen the PG version of Deadpool 2. So.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen that. But I did go and see. What did they do it with? They did this.
But then that only came out for like one day. That's the thing.
that was
like,
very
if
short.
this is in the theaters for more than a day, then I'm sure I'm going to go see it.
Was it Infinity War or Endgame? Joe and I went and saw the special edition filming or release of one of them. I think it was Endgame or something. It was another movie they did this with. And we went and saw it. And we got our little poster, commemorative poster and stuff. So I'll go and see it. I'm like, why not?
Well, I'll go see it too. It's just now I will basically have a 4K disc that is trash because once I have,
it's probably 10
once you have the new one,
seconds.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's just like, now we have Zack Snyder's Justice League movie, right? Like who's ever going to go back and watch the Joss Whedon movie again? It's just like, might as well be a paperweight, So that's what my disc is going to become, because I'll buy the new disc with the extra stuff.
Yep.
And why will I ever watch it with less stuff? You're always just going to watch
Well, that's why they do anything.
the better version,
Right.
So,
Well, that's like on Disney Plus. They have these in IMAX Enhanced that you can't get on disc, but I just bought the disc. It's like they do that on purpose.
Right, but at least but that doesn't, I don't have to buy it again. Like I can just watch it on Disney Plus,
Right. Right. I don't know.
Which I'll probably
It's
be
like
buying
they're
this
out to
movie
make
again
money.
anyways, because I'll need my Kaleidoscape version. So I'll just buy it that way. But that's neither here nor there.
Yep. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to
Moving
more
on.
information on that. All right. Moving on.
Moving on. Looks like the creative team behind Cobra Kai is working on a Duke Nukem movie for Legendary Pictures. I remember the video game, so
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
I love Cobra Kai, so we'll see what they do with Duke Nukem. I'm sure it'll be fun.
I like Cobra Kai, the show, but it's so corny. I don't know if it would translate, if these people can translate a Duke Nukem to
well,
a
again,
movie.
it depends on how they try to portray it. Like if it's sort of like Cobra Kai, where it's like kind of poking fun of itself and very 80s or not. Like Duke Nukem, I think was 90s. But like if it's very 90s and what you want is like Roddy Piper or somebody to come back and be Duke Nukem, but he's too old now.
I think he's dead.
Oh, maybe he is. No. I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. But
pretty sure, yeah, he's
But if they kind of take that approach with it, it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If they just try to make it like a 2023, space adventure with like Vin Diesel, like if it's like another Riddick or something, then we don't need that, So
yeah, he died in
We'll have to
20.
see what they do.
Roddy Piper died at 61 in 2015.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I knew that, but it just he's the guy.
No,
that
but
I
he is
think
that
of.
guy.
Yeah.
He definitely is that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to find another guy, John.
Find another guy. Yeah.
Find another
well,
guy.
I feel like this generation's guy would be Vin Diesel, but we've seen that. It's called Riddick, so we don't need it again.
Actually, Roddy Piper is a better actor.
He is.
Okay, and I love Vin Diesel, by the way. Love all his movies. I mean, Triple X. I mean, Vin Diesel ones.
But he's not a great actor.
No.
All right. The Old Guard 2 has added Uma Thurman and Henry Golding to the cast. So, looking forward to this. We love the Old Guard. I'm not sure who either one of them are playing, but
I love this movie. I love the
wait
movie.
for
I
that.
love the books.
Yep, I've read all the books, read the movies.
So good. When
Uma Thurman, I don't know who. Like I said, I'm not sure who she's going to play, but should be good.
Should be good.
And then last but not least,
Well, I could
Neil
think of the
Patrick
characters,
Harris. Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of who she could even be, but I don't remember.
All right.
Okay.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Last but not least, Neil Patrick Harris has joined the cast of Doctor Who for its 60th anniversary season next year. He's playing some kind of antagonist for the Doctor. So no word on how many episodes or how big his role is going to be, but he shared a picture on his Twitter or Instagram to give you an idea of the type of character he was going to play. And it looked very mad scientist.
Well, Bustle has
Doctor
the
Who.
headline. Neil Patrick Harris will play Doctor Who's greatest enemy yet.
Oh, I didn't see that headline, but
That's on Bustle. That's the graphic I have up right now.
okay. Okay. Well, the Doctor's had some pretty big enemies, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, I like Neil Patrick Harris. I like Doctor Who, so I'm looking forward to next season.
Has Doctor Who been up against Dr. Doogie Howser?
Yes, right.
I don't think
Not
so.
yet. Not
yet. I mean,
Yeah.
two great minds like that going at each other. Whew.
Yeah. Who will come out on top? One never knows. I feel like it'll be the Doctor.
Yeah.
Again,
which
one?
Doctor? Woohoo! Nice tease there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You ready to get right into checkout?
I am.
All right, John. What did we spend our money on this week?
All right. So the
All
first
right.
book, all right. Quagmire.
Yeah.
From
All right.
Family Guy. All right.
Oops.
What's his name? McConaughey.
Yeah.
McConaughey.
All right.
Anyway,
all right. That's
from Merc Comics, we have Miss MEOW, issue number 1. This is going to be a 6-issue miniseries.
That's a shame.
Okay, it's written by Murphey and Aaron Sparrow. Had art by Victor Serra.
Still does.
Cover art by Jamie Tyndall. Yeah, still does. I feel like with 2 writers on this book, it should have been a lot better.
What they do? Each pick a panel?
Yeah. This was not very good. Like, this was very The Boys. Like, I saw a lot of The Boys here with, like, Merc, which is kind of like the superhero group. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're, again, very The Boys. Like, they're celebrities. They're on, like, the red carpet. You know, they're very famous and rich because they're these mercs. And somewhere in here, there's the story of Miss MEOW and her rivalry with, like, Miss Kitka or whatever the other cat person was, and why they don't like each other. And they're trying to steal Spartan's helmet for some odd reason. We don't know why.
Leonidas.
Yeah, this was terrible.
It's Leonidas' helmet.
Leonidas' Spartan helmet, right?
Yeah.
This was terrible. Like, I mean, this
It
book
was
though
quick.
this was exactly what I knew it was going to be and what I expected though. Like, I
really?
knew exactly what this was. I mean, you could tell by the cover, this is just like, you know, an excuse to draw a bunch of women in hot costumes. But the problem is they weren't even like they weren't even attractive. Like, the art was not good.
It wasn't
they all
excellent,
had these
no.
they all had these lips, like these faces, like they look like those Bratz dolls.
Yes.
Did you find? It just wasn't good. Like, I don't know how much we want to spend on it. Just stay away from it.
I think we've spent more time on it so far than it took to read it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, here's the best recommendation. If you want to check it out, don't even pay for it. Just go to the thing, flip through it. You've just taken it all in. It literally takes about...
I can't condone that, but...
Well, you're telling people it's awful anyways, so...
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but I mean, if you're going to look at it, I want you to buy it. But yeah, just stay away from it.
Then you should put more in it.
The best art's on the cover. And
There's a
again,
bunch
this
of
is
them.
the same thing. Like, the cover art by Jamie Tyndall, and, like, you don't get the art inside. And that frustrates me so much with comics, too, because,
Right.
like, the art inside doesn't
tease
match
you.
the cover. And then, honestly, even if the art inside was great, the story was so bad that it wouldn't have made any difference anyways. It was just terrible. So,
It was
I think...
in their whatever synopsis or whatever. It's like Merc Publishing proudly present, and I'm like, proudly?
Yeah, its flagship title.
It's
Miss
flagship
MEOW.
title.
It's its only title. That's code for only title.
Right. Exciting new universe of characters is introduced here. I would argue they aren't even introduced.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you don't know who any of them are or why they are. You have the one guy that's like the who's the guy from the Snake Eyes character, like from G.I. Joe, except he has like a digital mask that like conveys his emotions. So you get all these smiley faces and frowny faces and stuff all over. He's kind of like Prince Robot in Saga. Where, you know, you just see the stuff on his face. Except Prince Robot is done way better. So, this we've already talked way more about this than we needed to. So.
All right, let's move along to this week's show title.
Yeah, from DC Comics, we have Dark Crisis. This was issue number 1. It's going to be a 7-issue miniseries on top of like the umpteen tie-ins issues that are going to go with it. So this is the big event book of the summer from DC. It's written by Joshua Williamson, had art by Daniel Sampere. So if you've been following along at all with DC, you know back in Justice League 75, the Justice League were killed by Pariah, and that sets
were
up
they?
this. Yeah, well, or were they, right? So that sets up this event here.
I've
You've
had
got
my
the
doubts.
remaining heroes, which are basically everybody else, all the Titans, all the sidekicks, and everybody are mourning the loss of the Justice League, but also trying to hold things together because with the Justice League being gone, obviously, everybody's stepping up to take their shots at whatever they want to do, and along comes Hal Jordan, who was off world and
That was
wasn't aware
awesome.
of what happened. And he's like, so Black Adam just says they're dead and you guys all just kind of believe him. Basically like do some
Yeah.
digging because this might not be true.
I'm on
look, at the
vacation
end
for
of
a
the-
little while.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, we all know this isn't the end of the Justice League. They're
Right.
all going to be back. But this is the big, like I said, this is their event. Really focused a lot on the Titans. They focused a lot on Dick, Nightwing, and also John Kent, who obviously are the Batman and Superman that are left. And I actually I thought it was pretty good.
I loved it.
I thought the art was really good.
Yeah.
Daniel Sampere's art. I'm not familiar with him. I may have seen it before, but the art was really good. And yeah, I got into this story. You always go into these things a little dubious because, at the end of the day, it's just another crisis event and they're all going to be back at the end. But it still was, I thought it was really good. I really liked the dynamic with John trying to put the new Justice League together. I liked Slade Wilson. Obviously he's trying to take advantage and capitalize on what's going on with Justice League being gone.
Yeah.
So
I like how all the characters have different responses to John.
Yes.
Different reasons. I thought it made it real, feel more realistic. And I like that what they did here. Obviously, you've been around comics in depth a lot longer than I have, or more consistently. But I liked how what brings you into this is like, all right, by the end of it's called Dark Crisis, but by the end of it, you're hoping the Justice League is back.
Oh,
right? So it's a little different than, I don't know if they did what they did leading up to like Crisis on Infinite Earths or any of the other, Crisis. But this one here, it feels like a reverse. I don't know. The way your outlook is, like you're looking, and they're doing a good job with it. It just it totally sucked me in, and I love like right away, like page 2 or 3. If not, it's like 1 or 2 actually, where Hal says that. And he's like,
Yeah.
what, you're going to believe
Yeah, it was pretty-
him? Which is, that's how I felt when I read it. I was like, why are we listening to him? And it's like, we're just taking that for granted as gospel. And you're like, no. And which is great. So now they've introduced that. And I'm on board. I want to read all of these. I won't read I'm just going to read Dark Crisis, but
yes, I don't
I'm
know if
not doing
I'm
the
not going to
event.
go into all the different tie-ins either.
Right.
I'll read the Dark Crisis 1 through 7, and that's pretty much it.
yeah.
So,
I'm sure it'll show up in Nightwing. I'm sure it'll show up in Batman.
some of the
Well, maybe in
ramifications,
Batman.
I'm sure they'll show up.
It should show up in Batman.
But that's the thing too, right? Like because you
Well,
always
that's
get
true.
into where is this in the timeline, right? Because
Yeah, it can't be,
Batman
'cause
125 hits the
He
shelf
exists.
in 2 weeks and he
Right.
exists. He's not
Yeah,
dead.
this is part
So
of the.
is that before or after?
No,
we don't know.
Yeah, this is
and that's
part of
always the
Justice
big thing
League.
with
Yeah.
these events. You don't really know. Well, in the same thing, like Superman's dead here, but in Superman or in Action Comics, he's on War World fighting,
Right.
Mongol and stuff. So who's to say when this takes place? But,
Yep.
you know,
But it is good.
you just kind of take yourself outside of it and read the story.
It's
and
fun.
Don't worry too much about the other books that are hitting the shelves. But that's why I don't think it's going to spill over necessarily into those other books.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the timelines probably don't match up. So.
Yeah, because their characters
Because
are
they're
still
all
alive.
Yeah. So.
Oh well. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It's a fun summer blockbuster type event
sure.
that definitely is just fun, and looking forward to all. But 7 issues. Is it bi-weekly or is it monthly?
I
'Cause
think
that's
it's
not a
monthly.
summer event if it's.
Oh no, well it probably is bi-weekly then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be
I don't
over
know.
by
I haven't seen
August.
number 2. Yeah. I'll have to see when 2
Yeah.
2 is due to come out. But
Cool.
yeah, that's true. Because I'm sure it's not going to run for 7 months.
That would be
so,
next year,
Yeah.
hopefully. But, all right. What do we got coming up next week?
Next week, we have A Calculated Man. This is by Aftershock Comics.
Mhm.
And then Seven Sons, number 1 from Image Comics.
Okay. Any info on either of those?
Calculated Man, the only thing I know about that is that it's already been optioned from Hulu for a series.
Ooh.
So should have a little bit of heat just because of that. People interested in getting the book.
Mhm.
Seven Sons is a creator-owned project by Jay Lee. That's all I really know about that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them.
All right. Did you read? I did not. Did you read anything else this week?
I read a couple of, well, I read a bunch of books, but a couple of other number 1s that actually both of these could have made the show. I read Jane Foster and Thor, issue number 1.
Oh, speaking of that, dang.
What?
Did you? Oh, you probably didn't. Have you seen the new trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder? It was before.
Yeah.
I saw it on the big screen. That was the
I haven't seen
highlight of Jurassic Park Dominion.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on the big
Jurassic
screen. but
World. Holy crap. What's her Natalie Portman?
Yeah.
Jacked. She looks fantastic.
There's a picture of her on Instagram with her guns, and they're pretty huge.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the workout she must have gone through. I mean, her shoulders are jacked. I mean, she's got these.
And she's fairly
balls.
petite. Like, she's slim.
Yeah.
Normally in most movies. So you would think usually that body type isn't able to bulk up like that. But she bulked up.
John,
she doesn't look like Chris Hemsworth, but
it's science. Yeah. It's science. What they can do now and how they know how to work out. They know the diets. They know. And when I say science, I'm not even saying like PED, performance enhancing.
But you still have to have the genetic makeup to,
I'm sure
to put on size. Yeah. You
No,
know what I mean?
they know now. Like the guy, what's his name? Playing Schreiber, playing Master Chief.
Master Chief, yeah.
Yeah, I watched his thing and like his video. Jen and I are watching another show with him in it right now. We'll get to that in a minute. But he has the same body makeup I have. Like he says it in his thing. He's 6'2", walks around at about 175 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a thin guy. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 6 feet and I walk around about 165 pounds, 170, right? So relatively the same size. He is jacked in that movie. Yeah. And it's all about how you eat and how you work out, what pace for each of those. And they can pack it on anybody. It's not easy to keep it there, but for a movie and for a few scenes, watch the behind the scenes stuff, how they do it. It's crazy. But yeah, she looks phenomenal.
Yeah, she looks great.
I mean, it's like when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, she looks like Thor.
Yeah.
A female Thor. She looks like right out of the comic book. Great job. Great job. A lot of dedication to do that too, because it's not easy. Ask any of those actors that have ever done what they have to do for that, and it's not easy.
Oh yeah.
It's
definitely not.
Painful.
Yeah.
So, all right.
The book was a lot of fun. I didn't write down creatives on this, so I'd have to go back and look. But the art in this was also fantastic. And this was a lot of fun. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Again, if you're keeping up with the comics, you know that she is no longer Thor. She's Valkyrie. She doesn't wield the hammer anymore. But in this miniseries, something happens to Thor. He disappears, and he has sent the hammer to find her, for her to pick it up again and rescue him or save the day. All of that. Again, if you're following along now, the hammer is now the spirit of Odin inhabits the hammer, so they don't like each other a whole lot. And so there's a lot here. This is a great book to have on the stands with the movie coming up. Like, I ordered a lot of these just anticipating having them around when the movie comes out. Unfortunately, it didn't sell very well, and that's a shame because it was excellent. So I definitely recommend that. And then I read Poison Ivy #1. And This was also really good. I know it was written by G. Willow Wilson. I don't remember who did the art here. This kind of picks up with where we've left her in like the Batman storyline, where she was separated from like her godlike powers, and she's very bitter now and is on a mission to, like, she's full on like wanting to kill the world again, like for the longest time we've seen her, with Harley, and she's kind of like, the anti-hero, and she's not necessarily out looking to do all the damage. In this book, she is just flat out killing everybody and, wants revenge on the world. And is really good. So far, I enjoyed the first issue a lot. So, I recommend both of those as number ones. And like I said, either one of those I could have talked about and made the show title. So,
should have let me know.
Well, we already had our 2 books. So, but you should read both of them. Like, you'll like them both.
Cool.
So, and that's it. I read some more Dune. Finally got back into reading Dune after a month or so and plugged away at 100 or so pages of that. So,
the novel, the book.
The novel, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, which again, I'm like 33% or so into the book, and I'm just at the point where the Duke gets killed, so there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
But, but still, it's excellent. The book is great, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Spoilers for, a 50-year-old book.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you ready to get to real world? Should
Sure.
be shorter than last week's, right?
It's a lot shorter than last week.
Maybe I'll actually get to tell you about something I saw.
I know, right? All right. So, first up, we finished DMZ. Like I mentioned last week, this is only a 4-issue limited series. 4-episode limited series, so it's not super long. We had watched 2 last week. We finished the other 2 this week. Rosario Dawson, Benjamin Bratt. It's on HBO Max. It was really good. We enjoyed it. Lydia and I both liked it. So if you haven't seen it, you should check that out. Watched the first episode of Miss Marvel. I'm sure you saw that.
Yes. Let's talk.
So I thought this was super fun. Now, again, this is not a character I'm very familiar with. I obviously have seen her show up in other books, but I don't read her comic or anything like that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of griping online, and some of it a little justified because they really have took some liberties with this character. Like, they changed her origin completely. They changed her powers completely. Like, she is not the same character from the comics. But this was so fun. Like, this, I really, really liked it. I liked where it's going. It didn't bother me as much because I'm not that into the character. It's kind of like Moon Knight. Like, I don't know that much about the character to begin with, so you can kind of do whatever you want. I don't
know if anybody is really into the character. It's not like Batman or Spider-Man or Superman.
No, but she's definitely got her fans. There's people that love her comic. There was some Easter eggs in here. There was a couple, like G. Willow Wilson is the creator, and her name shows up very prominently early on a plaque outside the school or something. So there's little bits of that thrown around. Of course, Avengers Con. There was a little tribute there to Tony and
a little
Nat. Big tribute to both of them, which was really cool. So yeah, this was just super fun. Can't wait to get to the next episode. I keep saying issue.
I know.
Can't wait to get to the next episode of this. I think, like, again, there's some people that were complaining about it, but I liked it a lot. So
I loved the story. I love how I think they're not only are they utilizing they're making a character that's relatable to, is she Pakistani? What is she?
Pakistani.
Pakistani?
Yeah. Pakistani.
So you have that, but I had one of my listeners on my other podcast DM me. He's like, this is made for people with ADD. And I was like, I didn't know if and now I read that before I saw it, and I thought he meant like it's crazy all over the place, which it is. But
It
it's
is,
made
but-
for the ADD child that isn't being understood. And
Right.
the description, I watched it with Joe, and I was like, I'm watching some of those scenes, and I'm saying the way her mother is acting is the way they're very. My parents are very religious people, so they're very regimented, right?
Right.
That doesn't play well when it comes to somebody like her with AD, and that was me and my mother banging heads.
Right.
Like, why can't, and like how she's fogging off. I was like, oh my God, that is me. That's like, it's so, and I still do it to this day, but it's like, there was so much stuff in there that's going to be so relatable to kids that I think for me, if I was 14 years old and I saw this, I'd be like, Mom, this is what I'm talking about. This is me. This is like, you're yelling at me right now. And I'm thinking, what about if I could, why aren't you listening to me? And like, it was so great. And I think you know how they're always trying to make characters relatable to different people. And that was the point. That's the point of comics. And they're nailing it here on two fronts. I think it's going to play really well for kids.
Yeah.
I want Jen to see it. She hasn't had a chance yet, but.
Yeah, it will. And this had a lot of Into the Spider-Verse vibes because you had like the animations popping up.
Yep.
And,
I said that to Joe in the middle of it.
Just a lot of fun. I heard some people say it was the best opening episode of anything on Disney Plus so far. I don't know if I agree with that, but it was really good and better than I expected because this was one of those shows that this is like the Amanda Waller. Like I wasn't asking for this.
Right.
Wasn't super like excited or looking forward to it. I always knew I was going to watch it, but I wasn't really looking forward to it. And I liked it a lot. So
I did too. I think that's the idea. Like you said, like some people are saying there's talk that it's the best opening ever on Disney Plus. I think that speaks to how this is speaking
on how it's
to people,
to.
Right? It's like, it's showing like there are people that this is really resonating with. For various reasons, but it's Stargirl. I think it's just like Stargirl, but Stargirl was this. I feel like this is
except
even
Stargirl
better.
is still like the blonde white girl, whereas here we have the Pakistani character,
a Pakistani character with
basically
the ADD
again is appealing to but again appealing to another demographic that isn't used to seeing themselves up on the screen as a superhero,
right?
So.
And but at the same time, now you're going to have, like myself, you're going to have this normal, not normal, ADD white kid relating to a Pakistani character and going, that's me. And they're like, that's not me. You're not Pakistani. That's my, and it's like, but I think it's great that instead of having the reverse, which when we were growing up, all the characters were, for all intents and purposes, white, right? But everybody was relating to Spider-Man. It was like, and that's what, that's the idea of Into the Spider-Verse and Miles and stuff. It's like anybody can be Spider-Man. Well, anybody can be any of these characters. And now we're doing it. I think it's great that it's coming in the reverse now, that it's like, I'm looking at, me, 52 years old, 52-year-old white guy, am relating to a Pakistani teenager.
Right.
Like, that's fantastic. And that's what we want. And I think they're doing a great job with it. And again, it's just another Marvel show that we're going like, wow, they went out in a different direction from all the other Marvel shows, and it's like, what's the next one going to be? Maybe a musical? We haven't done that
well,
yet.
it's a comedy. It's a sitcom. It's She-Hulk, which is basically a comedy.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But
we kind of got a little bit of that with WandaVision, though.
Little bit.
In a bit,
Yeah.
But in a different way. But yeah, so.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
So, okay, really enjoyed that. Okay, again, behind the times, but I finally got around to Ghostbusters Afterlife. Hadn't seen it.
Great home theater movie.
Well, and again, unfortunately, I watched it on Stars, and it was still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like my house was still rumbling. But it wasn't on 4K. I don't own it on 4K disc, and I'm not going to buy it, obviously, for reasons you know about. But but I loved it. I mean, such a good movie.
Right.
Really, really liked it. I loved how they brought everybody together, all the old characters with the new characters. The tribute to Harold Ramis there was really good. Just great movie. And honestly, can't wait to see it on, Dolby, uncompressed Dolby Atmos.
So I had the guys, Nick and Larry from SVS. Nick is VP of SVS marketing. Okay. And Larry I forget what his actual title is, but what he does is he designs everything like for training and stuff for new employees and how they're going to market their stuff and how to look for. So his job is my podcast. Like he just breaks down scenes for home theater. So I had them on about a month or so ago on my other podcast, and we were talking about like what's a great home theater. And they did an article, and I was like, this is fantastic. I love how you did this, so can you come on? And they did. They were awesome. But at the end, I asked Larry, I'd had him on before. I go, I need a scene from you. And he went to Ghostbusters Afterlife, and he broke down the opening scene, like second by second for sound. And it's an amazing thing to listen to. And Nick is funny. He goes, I think you spent more time describing the scene than it takes to watch it. But it's just awesome to listen to him because he gets into like different like hertz and like how low it goes and the sound and the way it moves in the room. It was awesome, but it was on the tip of his tongue. And then I found out after we recorded, he's like, "Yeah, I've been demoing that scene. They had just come from like a Chicago con or something, where he's like, I demoed that like 80 times for people."
Right,
like,
it wasn't just all off the top of my head,
right? But at the same time, I'm like, "Oh, that is the best job in the world."
Right. Yeah, no kidding. Right. How do I get that job?
It was awesome. So, but yeah, you got to see that, and we'll get you hooked up there, bud.
Cool. All right. Season 3 of For All Mankind premiered on Friday on Apple TV. So I watched the first episode of that, which is all that's available. I know did you finish season 2?
I have 9. I'm going to watch 9, then 1 in a row. I haven't done it yet, but I need the time. But yes.
The only thing I'll say, like spoiler free, is this does the same thing season 2 did.
Jumps.
Like you jump about 10 years.
Yeah.
When season 3 starts. But it recaps, a lot of the history of, the 80s. But with some differences, which were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like Gary Hart wins the presidency, things like that, which was pretty fun.
Yeah.
This is still just a great show. I really liked the first episode of this and can't wait to watch more of it. But again, if anybody's not watching this show yet, behind Ted Lasso, it's probably the best show on Apple TV.
It's so close. I think
C's pretty
really
good too, but I think
good.
I like this one a little more because I like the history aspects and what they're playing around with just a couple of the different tweaks they make here and there,
right?
And how it changes, history.
It changes, but those tweaks they all come back.
They all come back.
Like
around.
Your destiny is your destiny, right? And that's what you see. It's pretty cool how they do that. I would have a hard time deciding which I would rank higher because they're both fantastic, but kind of creatively for different reasons.
Very different, right? C is fantastic for the
creativity,
home theater experience,
and
it's a great show and it's a great story. But if you're into the home theater sound, the things they do with that show because they're all blind is fantastic.
The picture's great too.
Some of the best sound. Yeah. Well, it is, but some of the best sound design is in that show. Like it's fantastic. Yeah. And then the fighting styles that they've developed because they're all blind, like just a lot of the things they do because of that limitation makes it great, makes it a great show. And then it has a good story too. So, it's hard to say. Like,
it is.
We're both major fanboys for Apple TV, but there's good reason. Like, there's just great stuff there.
Great stuff.
So,
and then we got Foundation sometime soon. I don't know about this year, but
Foundation.
They got great stuff over there.
Yeah, they really do. All right, and then we watched on HBO Max, We Own This City.
Okay.
It stars John Barenthal and
I've heard good things.
Some other people that I'm not familiar with, but they were all fantastic. This is Baltimore PD. I guess it's a true story, although I didn't realize it was a true story till the last episode. At the end, they start doing the such and such went on to do this, and so you end up that they were all real people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically just the corrupt Baltimore Police Department and the war on drugs. It's kind of like The Wire 2.0.
Yeah.
But it was excellent. It's 6 episodes, and very gritty, very, again, very police drama, but it was really good. Makes you mad in a lot of places, when you see how people are treated and profiled and, the things that go on. And then you find out at the end that this is like, at least based on true events. Nothing you ever see is actually authentic to what really happened. But it's probably close enough in some instances that these things really went on.
Yeah.
And kind of crappy to see, but really recommend that. So we finished that. It was, like I said, 6 episodes. And then started watching season 6 of Peaky Blinders. Dropped on Friday on Netflix. Again, I know you're not into Peaky Blinders, but we love it.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. I was going to text you when I saw that.
Yeah, 6th and final season. They're only 6 episode seasons, and when I saw that this season was only 6 episodes, I was disappointed until I looked back and I realized that all 5 seasons were also only 6 episodes.
Yeah,
it felt like they were longer, but I guess they weren't.
That's a ringing endorsement.
But it didn't matter. Well, the thing is, I guess you didn't think about it as much because you knew there was more coming.
Right.
Like, it really stands out when it's the last season and you're only getting 6 of them.
Yeah.
And like we're 3 episodes in now, so it's like kind of like, okay. But I don't know what to say about it if you're not already watching it. If you're into it, and it's just kind of more of the same. It's just going to be the end of the story for these characters. But again, we love it. And so far it's been great. Now this one's been a little bit it's had a little bit more I don't even want to say magic, but like mythology than most of the other seasons, because it's really a very gritty, mobster show, basically set in the 1919, the 1930s. But this one had a lot of like they're talking to gypsies, and like his daughter's sick, so he's looking for like these gypsies to give him this magic cure for his, like, I don't remember the other seasons having that type of element to them.
Right.
So it took me out of it a little bit, because I was just like, I don't know why we're going here in the last season, but it seems like we're done with that now by the end of the 3rd episode. And I'm sure the last 3 will just be, balls to the wall, like everybody killing everybody and doing all their dirty deeds. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And that's it. That was my week. So,
all right. Before we get to Obi-Wan, the only one, did you say you've seen Candy on Hulu?
No.
Okay. Check this out. Pretty good.
I've seen the poster for it, on Hulu,
Jessica Biel.
But I haven't watched it.
Melanie Linsky, who played Rose on 2.5 Men. Remember Rose?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Live next door.
Yep.
Yeah.
And was in love with Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks like a completely different person in this one.
Okay.
She plays Betty Gore. It's in the first episode. I mean, it's Jessica Biel is Candy, it's a true story. She was, accused of murdering Betty Gore, who was Melanie Linsky.
Okay.
Really well done. We're like 3 episodes in, I think, and we're really enjoying it. It starts out with a bang and then kind of feels like it's going slow in episode 2, but then kind of picks up, and then it's only 5 episodes. I think it's 5. Yeah, it's 5 episodes, but what's his name? It's Schreiber. What's his first?
Liev?
No, they're like half brothers, I think.
Pablo.
Pablo.
Master Chief.
Master Chief.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah, because you said you were watching another show. Okay.
Yeah, he's in it, and he plays one of the husbands, and he's not Master Chief. And we're watching it, and I was like, oh my God. So I pulled up a picture of his training picture of him training from Master Chief, and I showed Jen. I go, "That's him," with my phone. She goes,
Right.
"Oh my God!" I'm like, because he looks like. I mean, obviously, as Master Chief, he looks like Liv Schreiber did as what's his name in X-Men when he
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. Remember how big he was?
Right.
So yeah, but either way, it's a true life crime story that has, if you want to look it up, you can see what the ending is to it. But yeah, it's really good, really good. Jessica Biel does really well with these shows. She does.
Yeah, because she was in that other one, The Sinner.
Yeah. Yeah, she was great.
I only watched
season 1.
Season 1, yeah, because she wasn't in the
season 2.
It was a different story after. It's kind of like True Detective. Like,
was it
different.
Bill Pullman? Was he the other one in that? Yeah. He went on to
he goes through
2.
all but she didn't. But yeah, she was great in that show too.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's great in this too. It's like you look at her and then wow, really good. So I recommend that. Recommend that a lot.
Cool.
And that's over on Hulu. But yeah, so quick Obi-Wan talk.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this week?
I mean, I think it was a little bit of a letdown from week 3, but I'm still liking. I still enjoy
love the show. Yeah,
yeah, still loving the show. I thought this, I liked the rescue scene where he's killing off the stormtroopers in the dark when she's like in the chair, which was very reminiscent of Rey being in the chair in Force Awakens or whatever. But yeah, it was a little slower again, like I said, compared to the Vader episode.
Yeah,
but I'm still loving it. Like I still really, I still think it's great.
I had a little trouble with suspending disbelief when they're interrogating a 10-year-old.
Oh, well, because I was like, okay, they're gonna throw this 10-year-old. Actually, the thing. Why would she know any of
that information?
The thing I had the biggest problem with is him walking through the hangar with her underneath his coat, and like nobody notices that he's got this kid under his coat.
I said the same thing. I was watching it with Joe, and I'm like,
so obvious.
This is awful because it's the scene from Solo that Jon Favreau played that character. Remember?
Oh yeah,
and he was like he was stacked underneath or whatever. I'm like, with the trench coat on and like his legs are hanging. I'm like, that was bad.
So bad. I'm like, come on, nobody, like, that's why they can't hit anything, right? Because they have no eyes. The stormtroopers are all blind.
Well, they say that in A New Hope. Like, I can't see a damn thing in this helmet.
Right.
So they say that. But yeah, when they're really like interrogating a 10-year-old for information that I know she's wise beyond her years, but why would a 10-year-old know that information? Like that, the stuff they were asking isn't dinner talk for her parents. I know her parents are high up, but it doesn't make sense. I was like, all right, I had a little trouble with that, but I still, you love the show and everything, but I was like, I looked at Joe and I was like, at 10? I'm like, yeah, she's smart and she's intuitive about people, but this.
I told Lydia, it's like, you can't do that without a parent present, man. She's 10.
So, yeah, she's 10. So, yeah, I like where it's going. There's only 2 episodes left, so.
I know. Well, I have heard rumors now
7.
that they've greenlit a season 2.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised about that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, but it wasn't supposed to.
No, I know.
Like it wasn't supposed to have one, but I guess apparently due to the overwhelming popularity, which I can't believe is a surprise to anybody that people like Obi-Wan.
Right.
But apparently it's doing so well. And again, there's 10 years of story to tell between this and New Hope. So, there's definitely room for another season.
Well, of course, as soon as we're into 4 episodes here. If you're not watching it already, you probably don't really care. So, but just the fact that he's off world from where we knew.
Right. Because I thought we were going to get another whole show on Tatooine. And I was like, okay, I'm not down for Tatooine too much longer. Like,
But
I think Luke says in A New Hope, he says, if there's a bright center to the universe, You're on the planet that's farthest from it. No, you are like literally on the center of the universe because every story takes place here. You know,
it all starts here.
We don't,
and literally,
we don't go anywhere except for Tatooine.
Right.
Know?
It literally, the entire saga ended there as well.
It starts there and ends there.
Right.
So it's not Coruscant. That's not the capital or the center. It's Tatooine.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So,
but yeah, like you said, just the fact that it's not actually taking place there because they fooled us, right? Like all the previews leading up to the show, you see him watching Luke, and you think this whole show's going to take place there, and then they definitely did a 360 or a 180 on us, and changed it. So
we're back where we were.
Yeah, 360, right back where we started.
We're back on Tatooine again.
I'm sure he'll be back there by the end of the last episode because we know he goes back there.
Right.
But at least for now, this is taking place elsewhere, which is pretty cool.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. And I mean, so you know that right away when they did that.
Well, I'm sorry. The one other thing that bugged me a little bit was she did the whole she pulled the New Hope again, where she's like, I let them go. I put a tracker on them. You know what I mean? It's like Vader's killing her. Well, you know,
I knew that when she took the little droid. I knew that's what she was doing.
It was kind of like,
I said to Joe, I'm like,
we've been here again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then I love.
It's like if you let them go, then why were you chasing them and trying to shoot them?
Like, you got to make it look good.
Know? Yeah.
Oh, that escape was too easy. That's why Leia knew in A New Hope what an easy escape looks like.
Right.
See? Huh?
She's like, I've been here. I've seen this game before.
Been here, done that. Last time I got away with all the people that came in. This time we lost one.
Right.
It was that old guy.
And it's you.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yep. But other than that, I watched Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
Awesome. Especially after, it's so good. It's just such a great home theater experience too. But I just really like that story, and then how it ends at the end. The way they end that, you just want more. You're like, I want to know more about Rey. I want to know where she goes, Rey Skywalker now. But knowing all of that and seeing Leia on Obi-Wan and then watching her die, it's just, it's powerful, but it's like knowing that and watching, like, just because of the Obi-Wan series, I decided to do all 9 movies again. And then ever since, Luke and Leia came back in and Leia comes back in, you're just like, there she is. And it's like, that's why I'm having so much fun with the Leia character right now. And like, I know what you're like as an adult.
Well,
I've seen you die. It's
now
sad,
you kind of have like
great.
Full character arcs for some of these characters where you never really had it before. Like I've always, but I've been saying for a while now that my favorite character in Star Wars is Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Because nobody is more fleshed out in Star Wars than she is, And
that's
but
not
now
true
we're starting
anymore.
to see now we're starting to see some of these other characters because now we have like beginning, middle, and end for Leia.
Right.
Even for Obi-Wan now, to some degree. We kind of had that before, but now we have more middle than we had before.
Right.
Who knows what happens with young Luke, but yeah, we're starting to get more, like I said, more for these characters, and you've seen them now through their whole life. Like you've seen her whole life go on.
Yeah.
You saw her born, you saw her at 10, you saw her at 20, you see her die. It's like,
how about this for Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan season 2. Obi-Wan as a child.
So we're going back in time?
Yeah, because they mentioned it in this one.
Yeah, well,
about him being taken away from his parents. He doesn't
maybe he goes to look for his brother or something that he thinks he remembers.
Right. That's what I mean. They've introduced a life before Jedi. So what is he like? How is he recruited? What was it like? Because to me, it sounds pretty horrific what they did, what the Jedi did to kids. They just pulled them from their families, and like, and it
doesn't seem very.
Yeah,
it's kind of Master Chief-ish, right? It's kind of like Halo,
Yeah, it doesn't
they just rip you away from your families, and who's volunteering for this?
Because up until this series, it felt more like Professor Xavier-ish. Like we have a place for you. We could help you.
Right.
This was more of like, nope, we're taking your kid. He's force sensitive. What? Wait, what? And he was like, no, I was just taken away from my family. What?
Which like casts some doubt on the motivations of the Jedi Council.
Well,
right?
that was the idea.
Because,
that was. I think they're creating a I don't know what to call it, but creating some doubt there that.
Right.
Hey, maybe they are. I mean, I think their intentions were good, but the way they went about it might not have been.
But maybe the way they went about it.
So.
But but they've said multiple times, like the Jedi are like attachments are forbidden.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you take that back to its logical conclusion, I guess that would include their family too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I took that as
because they're not all orphans.
To me, it was no different than like priesthood in the Catholic Church. I
Right.
thought it was very analogous to that. So.
Well, right, but now we're finding out that it goes deeper than that. It's like all family attachments.
They literally abducted children. Yeah, okay.
Right.
So, alrighty. On that note.
Exactly. On that happy note, the Jedi are like, human traffickers.
I don't know. With powers. With great
Maybe
power.
Maybe Palpatine wasn't all bad after all.
Right. With great power comes abduction. Alrighty. All right. That it? That's all I have.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, so. All right. That'll do it for this week. We will be back next week with a couple more books, some more real world. We got some stuff going on. Maybe a big announcement next week. We're not really sure yet. But stay tuned. Right, John?
All right. Right.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Sure, but
what'd you say? Well, we're not sure.
I feel like we are sure.
We're sure. We're not sure when. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nervous things going on. Nervous, John. Nervous.
I know.
Oh. All right. We'll be back next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Hey, Fred,